Paul makes a call. Tubby People. And everybody loves a sticker. All this and more on today's Brilliant Observations. Do, 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 do.
Hello, Melissa. How are you?
Hello, my love. I am getting along. Another day, another less than $1. How are you? Let's go by what's important. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I am plotting and moving forward. That's all you can do. I can't believe we're almost at May. Can you believe it?
Are you really plotting something? Because the idea of you plotting is very exciting to me.
I am plotting a great and vast many things, one of which I actually just came up with this morning. And I don't know if it's genius or like really, really weird. So
We'll be the judge of that.
Of
Let
course,
it fly.
I'm going full bore into this. Well, I don't know why it popped into my head, but for my whole life, my formative years, Sundays were spent going to church and then going to my grandmother's house, where a sizable portion of my extended family would gather over the course of 2 hours. They would come in for a little bit. They would stay for the whole time. Some would come in late. Some would come in early based on their schedule. But basically, over the course of between, 10:15 to 1 p.m., you got to see 72% of your extended family all in one place. And we did that pretty much every Sunday for pretty much 20 years straight.
That's amazing.
And I'm certainly aware that this was not a common experience, and I cherished it, and I still do. So that's one of the many reasons that I love to gather. I get to experience that with my friends. I get to experience that with my family. I love it, love it, love it. Maybe that was rattling in the back of my mind, but I've had a couple of gatherings recently at our home, and I'm behind in having people come over here. And I keep saying, we need to get together. You need to come over. I owe people dinners and cocktails from them having us over and all this. And I'm just behind. So those two things must have been on my mind this morning when I came up with the thought, it needs to be simpler. It needs to be no stress. Not that it is stressful. It needs to be lower the bar. The standard has to be, the priority has to be getting together, and everything else has to get out of the way. So if there's a pile of dirty kitchen rags in the corner when someone comes over, that's not the reason to say they're not coming over tonight, right? So I came up with this thought. What if it's a 2-drink maximum? I'm no longer inviting people to dinner. Once a week, I'm going to invite that person that I have casually but intentionally said, we need to get together. I want to get to know you. I need to talk to you about this specific thing. You're very interesting to me. I don't know anything about you. We've barely met. Come and sit in my house. So instead of a 2-drink minimum, I'm going to have a 2-drink maximum. You're coming over. You can have up to 2 drinks, and then you're leaving. So that's it. You're invited for a 2-drink maximum, and we're going to talk about whatever the fucking thing is that we said we were going to talk about. If it's your job, if it's your art aspiration, if it's the fact that you were just diagnosed with leukemia and somehow think it's a great idea to stay at this job you hate, if it's because we haven't seen each other in 6 years, if it's because you're the next door neighbor and I'm remiss in having you in my home, if it's for no reason at all, if it's because I like those pants. 2-drink maximum, let's go. Thoughts?
Yeah, I'm trying to see how this differs from my husband's plan of welcome to our home, please leave by 9.
Yes. But see, it's set up, it's like a date. The dating service called It's Just Lunch.
Yes.
Right? Where the pressure is off because it's not dinner, it's just lunch. Honestly, that's probably how they came up with the name because I just said it that way. You know, it's just drinks, right? So I'm not inviting you to dinner because drinks at my house is what other people actually serve for dinner. So for me to say coming over for drinks is less stressful for me, but they still get a meal out of it.
Yeah,
and it makes them
that's
feel less
where
crazy.
that's what I'm gonna say. There's no way you're inviting people in your home and you're not serving dinner.
I actually now, as I sit here and recall, I know exactly why I came up with this. It's because a couple who I have social business with both have declared their divorce. So I'm like, well, fuck. It's now I got to have both of you over. Like, who am I going to pick and who's going to go first? And it just needed to be easier to get them here one at a time, right? And whenever I'm inviting these folk over, I always think, do I have to have their kids too? And by that I mean, I love having everyone's kids, but it's a different dynamic.
It definitely
If I really
is.
just want to talk to you, even though the kids are grown, I don't do anything
And
when the
great.
kids are here.
And great
Yeah.
in their own right, but it's a
They
different
go
conversation.
to a different floor of the house and drop in to steal the food. That's it. So they're not impeding on us, but it's kind of like a forced play date, and then it feels. I'm talking to you because your story is interesting to me. It's case in point. I went to a large social gathering this weekend, invited by a friend who happened to have extra tickets. He's a sponsor. Thank you. Of course, I will come and stand and use these free tickets. I'm in. He was telling me about some of his professional backstory, which I never get to because I'm so busy being your friend. I could care the fuck less what you do for a living. And he said, and I quote, I was telling these people my story, and they were so enthralled by it, they said, we have to give him all of our business. My story was so compelling. And that is, every time I tell my story, I get more business. And so as I was in the middle of saying, what's your story? I don't know.
Oh, my God.
I know. Who says that? He founded his company in COVID. And says, and when I tell people my story, their minds are blown. And I'm like, you can't set me up like that.
And then
walk
leave
away.
me
Hanging
Yeah.
and then not do it. It's unbelievable. Anyway.
So I have a different plan for you.
Let's hear it.
I like your concept of 2-drink maximum. It's not something I think you'll either follow or publicize. But I will say for you, I see just Friday open houses starting May, whatever the first week Friday in May is. And for like 3 hours, 6 to 9 every Friday is a drop-in at the Fugazi house where you have just appetizers and drinks, and whoever can come can come. This is your way to have hosted everybody. And if you don't after this, like come August, if you haven't seen them, it's not your fault. They were invited. You should come to my 6 to 9 happy hour I have. And you know the people that you invite that will stay forever are the people that will come at 8:45 to see who you had over and then just stay and talk about everybody who left at 9.
I love this, and it has been my dream to do Sunday Supper series where Sunday from 1 until 4 or whatever the time period is, either it's a brunch or it's an early afternoon sort of a thing. The food is out. Come, don't come. There's no RSVP.
I love
there's no
that.
talk. We're doing it. It's basically my grandmother's house. The food is being prepared. If you're going to eat it, here's where you would show up. But in terms of a happy hour, I got to push back. That's the exact opposite of what I want to do. If I was doing a happy hour, I would pick one routine, what do you call it, recurring day of the month. So it's the second Friday or whatever the hell it is. So the people knew, and it's once a month. So that because it's too much pressure, I'm not interested in entertaining like that. The reason I like the and what I was trying to get out of you for the 2-drink maximum, I'm talking about people who I have said a sum total of 9 words to. I want them in my house for 2 drinks. They're not going to come if I invite them to dinner. And I never do invite them to dinner because I'm constantly concocting. I'll pull 3 people you know, and then now we have a dinner for 10, and now we're all seated, and I can get to talk to you because I've triangulated your friends around you as protection, and we've aligned our schedules. That's how it gets complicated.
That idea. I hate that idea.
I need a 2-drink
10 people
maximum.
at a table? Ugh, no. You only talk to the 2 people around you.
If you were the stranger who I accost, as I regularly do, and I offered you the 2-drink maximum, would you feel like it's just lunch? Would you feel like, what have I got to lose? I need to see how this kookaburra lives in her own house.
Yeah, I'm not your girl. I'm not going either way. If you're my dear friend, if you've invited me in pajamas for a poo-poo platter of cinnamon buns and brownies and like carbs and sugar, I'm in. But the reason I went for that cocktail 3 hours is because it's open. It is welcoming. It's a finite amount of time. People can come after work. And because of the community that supports you and that you support, that is travel, that is hustle, they're not there on weekends most times. So if you picked a Friday from 6 to 9, again, true. I would come down to North Carolina every Sunday for dinner if that's something you did. Fuck your neighbors, fuck your friends, fuck that scene. If I knew you were cooking every Sunday, you're right. That's where I would be. However, what you made it sound like was you wanted to have those conversations, and that is done in the small deep-seated seating section, not deep-seated. Wow, that's a different part of your house. A deep seating section of your house where everybody can sit or gather. This is a bad week for me, but I'll come next week. And you never know remember that movie or that show, like Dinner for Idiots? No, Dinner for, like, the table that celebrity puts together of random other celebrities who've never been friends, never seen each other, and the conversations they have are worthy of putting on a big screen, right? I'm so curious to hear what Jen Aniston has to say to Drake. Are they getting married? Like, there's just a whole... So when people come, you don't know who's coming. It's different every time. It does not serve the purpose of you finding out his story of inception, business, COVID situation. But it does give you, it gives me hives, but it does give you the opportunity to bring together a community at your place. You could even fall asleep on the couch while conversations are happening around you, and it's all at your house.
This is also charming. I love your perception of what's going on here because it's so vastly different than what I intended. I don't need any excuse to entertain. That happens at a finger snap.
I do.
And I don't necessarily love entertaining. I don't love the act of entertaining. I love the function of entertaining. I love people being here and the entertainment that is happening. Right?
Right. You could fall asleep on the couch while people are
talking.
So
I have no burning desire to invent ways where I have to put on a performance for people. Like, that's not it at all. In fact, I want quite the opposite. I want the opportunity to talk to at least 4 different people who I have in my mind's eye that I really need a couple of cocktails with. And I don't want to go out. To me, it feels like maybe this is the part that is totally disconnected. And I get this is so random. You're probably just going to cut all this or tighten
Not
up.
yet. Go ahead.
I get it all. I feel... that's an overstatement. I would much rather...
I don't feel...
I was going to say I feel strange. I feel blah. Going to a location, a restaurant, to sit out and have cocktails. To me, that feels very formal. It feels very, whatever. I do it all the time. I don't have any qualms about it. But if I am getting to know you, I would much rather come on over to the house. Like, it's less formal to me. It is less pressure to me. It is open for... That's where the good stuff happens. People get sketchy they're sketchy anyway. Like, I don't understand the squirrely nature of humans.
We are not the same.
I want to hear. I want to hear. And the other part is, most of the people who I find myself talking to, once I start gabbing or poking, their eyes get real big and they can't help themselves. And it just starts billowing out of them. All this shit that they've been waiting to say. And it is exciting and interesting and engaging and weird and educational. And I love it. It happened at this fucking event that I went to with the insurance guy. Well, it started with me being, in a teasing way, told I was going to receive a restraining order from the county councilman. So that's how the conversation went. Yeah.
Are you saying you didn't just go, this is not the party where Louis DeJoy, I asked you to throat punch him? Oh, okay.
It is. So Louis DeJoy, who is the Postmaster General, lives in my town, and some parents of a classmate of my son's throw an annual huge gala fundraiser on their lawn every year. And they happen to be direct neighbors with DeJoy. And so DeJoy was a sponsor and they were a sponsor and all this other stuff. And honestly, it's called the Oyster Roast. And it's a benefit. And I don't eat oysters, so I never go. It is the garden party to be seen, right? You get photographed and put in the paper. It's not my scene. I never go to this damn thing. So a friend had some extra tickets. He was like, come on, guys. I bought these tickets. I'm a sponsor. Come on. And I was like, all right, what the fuck do I care? So I went over there in my dress, in my shoes, on the lawn. It's like the biggest, weirdest, southernest wedding that you could ever did see. It was crazy. Anyway, tons of people. And I'm just standing there talking to him, hearing about his story of insurance. Because why would we ever talk about insurance? We never talk about insurance. And in the process, he, being a host, would constantly have people coming over to the table. Hi, who are you? Hi. So we keep meeting all these folk, right? And of the, this one, oh, you work for that artist that I like. That's fantastic. Tell me about that. Oh, you're on I know where you are. Exactly. Oh, great. So you're doing all that geography of who's where. And then this one woman who had on the most stunning dress I have ever seen. I was clocking her the whole time, right? It was a floor-length dress, crazy pattern, but not a crazy Southern pattern. It was like a big, I don't even know how to describe it other than you could have plucked this off some European runway. It was spectacular. She was a stunner. I don't know if she was black or Indian or what she was, but she was very dark, complected, gorgeous, the most beautiful stunner person. You just stare at her. She's a stare person, right? Came over to the table. So they're all chatting. Hi, who are you? Hi, blah, 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 blah. And I start chatting with her. And it always comes back around to, so what fills your time? What interests you? What are your hobbies, right? I never like to say, what do you do? Because not everybody has a thing that they do or they get stumped by it.
I appreciate that, by the way.
Well, everybody has a thing that they do, but they often get stumped by it. So I say, and it's also maybe not as interesting if your job is really dumb, but your personal life is really fun.
I'm an
That's what I want
accountant.
to hear about.
Yeah.
Right. So even worse. So she leans in and she immediately makes a face and says, well, I am helping to run my family business. And she made this weird face. I'm a female entrepreneur. I'm looking at a stunning, world-beating female entrepreneur.
It is ducal removal.
It's even worse. It's even worse. Funeral home.
I don't
It's
think
the
that's
family.
worse.
No, in terms of like
Fun
a
home.
letdown,
I love it.
a letdown, a funeral home, right?
Have you seen
And
that
I look
show?
at her.
Fun
No.
Home.
No,
Oh.
but I'm supposed to. So I look at her, and just based on her telegraphing to me, like, I fucking hate it, and I don't want to do this, and I'm embarrassed to talk about it, and let's change the topic. No. I got out the shovel.
I'm gonna pick at that scab.
Well, so immediately I say, gosh, you've made a face. I said, I take it this is not your life's dream. She laughed real loud. And then in the span of about 7 minutes of back and forth, she volunteered. I won't say I pulled out of her. She volunteered that as the eldest daughter, she was pressured by her dad to step in, take over this business, run it with him, even though he should have long since retired. And her younger sister is off living the best life in a major city in the U.S., crushing it, living her dreams out. And this woman has gone back to school 3 times to get 3 different degrees to be able to run this fucking business. And I'm like, your time is done. It's time to give this up. Let's go. Her husband's standing there. He happened to be an elected official, right? And I am looking at him like, how are you letting this go on? And he's like, don't look at me. And so I keep saying things like, you need to leave him. And they're like, you don't know my dad. You don't know the situation. And they're laughing as if, I am the millionth person to tell her this. And it is all just wasted breath, right? So then, after about 10 more minutes, I come up with this plan where combining her sister's talents and her husband's...
Of escaping responsibility.
No, her sister's chosen profession,
Is.
her husband's chosen profession, her desired profession, and the funeral home, I concocted it into a multi-pronged business where they all work together, and she doesn't have to work at the funeral home anymore. And she was looking at me like I had just gifted her a new life. It was crazy, right? She's like, how does this work? How does this work? And then the husband says, I think we need a restraining order because if her dad gets a hold of this, we're in trouble. First of all, we're in trouble. And I was like, you got to go. You got to quit that job. You got to grab by the life by the horns. And I mean, can you imagine if I actually did find Louis DeJoy at this thing? I really would have ended up in a squad car on the way home. That's just the way it is because I would not have held back.
Or you would have fixed the postal service because it sounds like you just set up a new life for this young woman who's...
I really did, and she's such a stunner. And it's the kind of thing where when you see somebody, you must feel this way about me in my failure to launch in all of my things, right? When you see somebody who so clearly is stalling on doing the thing that is obvious to everyone. I don't know what feels obvious for me, and I don't think you have something obvious for me.
I think you
but
do
I'm stalling.
know what I have
don't.
obvious for you.
Oh, what do you have obvious? What's
couldn't be
obvious
clearer to me. It couldn't be clear every day when I tell you what a disappointment you are to me. Thank you for not singing. You are a colossal disappointment to everybody who knows you. I hope you're happy.
I was better than
you
that
are
band.
not singing.
I was better than both bands that they had, number one, because they had the band, and then they had the band that went on when the other band went on break, so that there was constant banding. No, I can do this better.
Yeah, you are a
they were
fucking
big
disappointment.
bands.
That you are a fucking disappointment. I hope you're happy.
I'm going to stay at the funeral home, and I got a restraining order for you.
Against me.
Yes.
I
God help us.
I endorse the restraining order, as there's this family politics going on there that we cannot override. But I feel like you planted a really good seed in her brain.
She's
And
considering it. You could tell.
I know. I heard it in your description. And because of that, it's just going to be a civil suit that comes against you for ruining their lives. It's
You know what? I'll evade it. And I'm not worried about the law in this case because I'm righteous. I'm righteous. I'm speaking to her soul. This is not the soul of a woman.
People will know where to find you from 6 to 9 on Friday evenings. You can't evade for very long.
Listen, I started loading it up in the beginning saying, I misunderstood her original hesitancy to share with me what she did. I misunderstood it as none of these super uptight rich bitches can handle any conversation about anything real. And working at a funeral home is pretty fucking real. So I expected that she, on first glance, thought maybe, I'm just not touching this hot topic again. Let's just get off it as quick. So I was like opening the door I said, well, that's incredibly difficult and spiritual work. And I know that must take a lot out of you.
It's ideal
a lot
job.
Of energy. Yeah. And I was asking, like, do you do the mortuary science or are you more of the administrative? What are you doing?
You
what's
embalm?
The role there? And and she said, no, I don't get my hands dirty, so to speak, but I do run all other aspects and this and that. And even as she was talking, you could just see the life drain out of her. And I don't mean that as a pun.
I feel it. I feel it.
I was like, you are the most vibrant woman here. You are an energetic force. And I picture you sitting in a cinder block basement, shuffling paper for a business that you wish would close. That is probably so financially viable, it should have closed long ago and sent you to the Carib where you belong. You gorgeous thing. The whole thing. The whole thing. Why is it so obvious when you see other people? Why are they so obvious? And then when I look in the mirror, all I see is, what am I supposed to be doing now? Why is it so hard for me to focus on all the things that will obviously bring me success in life? Like sit-ups, alarm clocks.
Sit-ups. Sorry.
Sit-ups, alarm clocks, morning walks, meditation. I'm going to meditate. Doing a fucking journal. All the shit that people... Weight-bearing exercise. I'm going to lift some shit. I will.
Tomorrow.
I will. I'm doing it. I'm doing it now. Heavy thoughts. I don't know. I'm done. I'm all over the place. I'm done. I don't even know why I'm talking about this in that way. That woman has so much to offer. It is patently obvious to me. And it is curious that I don't feel the same way about myself. I wonder if we're all that myopic and blind.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dysmorphia, right? You hear about it for women mostly with body dysmorphia, but an imposter syndrome, that's another one. I can't believe I'm here. I'm not quite. It's a thing. And you identifying it is the beginning of overcoming it, no?
I guess. I have started to be more critical of my own choices. I was always hypercritical, way too critical, and I didn't know that until I stopped doing it when everything stopped in COVID. And then I went all the way off the other deep end, which is everything I'm doing is great. I don't care if I burn my house down.
I'm gonna
That's
eat it.
Great. I think it's great. So I am always reminded of a dear friend who had a bit of a business stumble. She is also an entrepreneur, and everything that she was doing to pull out of the stumble was the stupidest, most ill-advised, off-topic, off-skill set madness that anyone in their right mind had ever seen. And she kind of knew it too and was saying, I know, but I really think this will work. And it was just escapism, because the solution you are seeking is in the work you are avoiding. And there was no clearer evidence of that than watching her. So I'm trying to apply that to my life every morning when I sit and win the tournament on fishdom instead of prospecting for clients.
I saw that. Yoda, can you repeat that comment for me?
Fishdom is a great game.
No, not that comment, you fucking dope. The comment of the solution that you seek is found where?
The solution you are seeking is in the work you are avoiding.
Okay, I'd like you, dear listener, to write that down, as those are words by which to live. You know you're avoiding it. I'm avoiding it. I still have to return Stitch Fix from way too long that I'm now going to have to fucking pay for and I don't want. There are obstacles in your way, some of which are mental, most of which are mental. You have a skill set. It's getting over that stumbling block. If you have tricks, tips, or ways that work for you, I want to know. Write me specifically. Amy is content just tripping over those blocks. I would like to hurdle. Oh, she took out a pen. She's going to write them down too. Actually, it's the stylist. She's fucking useless. Brilliantobservations@gmail.com. Write us and let us know. You can see us on the socials. Call us shitty things like everybody else. But I do want to pose a question to you that was posed to me at 15th Seder this past Passover. If somebody came up to you on the street, I know you've seen the Doggist. He takes pictures of dogs, and they're so cute.
Yes.
They're all over the Reels and the TikToks and all that stuff. Okay. Instead of asking to take a picture of your beautiful pup, what if they said to you, I'll give you $1,000 for your dog?
Why? Why would they say this? No, is the answer. Obviously,
He's
no.
super cute. He's really well trained. He's off leash.
I
I
get
see him
that.
in your backyard. What do you mean why? It's a
No,
good dog.
I totally agree. Inherent value is higher than 1,000. No, why? But it's like someone coming up to you and saying, "I'll give you $1,000 for your child." Like it's like
Go ahead.
that's what's no.
I'll give
I'm
you
not giving up my child.
I'll give you $10,000 for your dog.
No, you won't.
I'll
No,
give
you
you
won't.
$2 million for your dog.
No, sorry. I really would like $2 million. I would really like $2 million. And I absolutely admit to you fully that I could not live a life where I sold my pet for $2 million. Okay? It's not that it is truly about the money and about my pride is the wrong word, my ability to live with myself. I chose you. You are my pet. You are in our family. You deserve our love. That's the way it is. Would I rather have $2 million than you? Yes. But I'm not a person who will give rid of you. I won't. That's
but
not how
ask
that's
me
gonna
what I
work.
stole this week and we'll get along.
I don't want to think. Well, there's another old line that I'm going to butcher as I try to remember it. But it's like, if the only thing that we've already established that you're willing to prostitute yourself, now we're just haggling over price. Right?
Okay.
You're either going to do it or you're not, and then there is no price because I'm not going to do that. So it's not about the price. It's about the fact that I wouldn't do it.
Okay. Now you get a text to your phone that says, I've taken your dog. I want $3,000.
Wish you took it before, didn't you? You're terrible. I talked over you. What is it? What's the ransom?
Yeah. I have taken your dog. Give me $10,000 for your dog. Well, I don't have that to give for my dog, but what do you do?
Yeah, I'd probably find $10,000. I mean, I'd probably find a way around it before I'd find a spare $10,000 to make that happen. Yeah.
Right. Once the police were involved and
now it is we're talking about a number, because at a certain point I'm not going to put an extra line of something on my house to get the dog back. I'm not.
Also it means that you're Amy and things come to you. So all you need to say is I spent $10,000 and then I got this gig and now I just made
another dog appeared.
$12,000, an extra $2,000. So now the dog and I are going out. We're going to have a day.
Come on. It's so sad. Especially, you're probably not mentioning it because you're a normal person. It may be that you haven't heard about it. The news.
Oh my God, the
dogs.
vice presidential potential candidate.
Yeah.
What
for those,
the fuck?
For those who are not up on it, or if it's out of your mind's eye because the day has passed, there is a woman who was briefly in contention to be running mate for Donald Trump in the upcoming presidential election. She released a book, and in the book, there is a segment where she details how she euthanized her own dog on her own property, and
with her own weapon.
It's not that nice. I'm trying to get you into this nicer than I have seen it, and I'll conclude this entire segment with the sentence of reality, which is she shot the dog in the face because he was a puppy
and ate chickens.
14 months old, and was we don't need to keep talking about it. She referred to him as less than useless, worse than useless, something. It's like, honestly. So, and she is using this as evidence of her ability to make and literally execute difficult decisions. And I feel like it is not that. I feel like it is not that. I feel like it is prime example of horrible judgment. Horrible judgment.
Quite the opposite of what you were looking for here.
Horrible judgment. If you're in the business of killing your pets and you want to talk to me about it, I don't want to talk to you. I don't care what your political affiliation is. We're out. We're done. You had me at shot the dog. You had me. I was out. Never coming back. Done and done again. No, that's not how it works. That's just not how it works. It's not how humans work.
You said that she was briefly in contention. Is she no longer? Is this the straw that moved her to the back of the camel? What are we?
It has only been widely reported on in the past hour, and if she makes it to the end of the day, I will be amazed.
Okay, good.
There is no one who would, in their right mind, and there is not even Donald Trump, would see an upside in this. The man who hates dogs, the man who loves attention, who loves controversy, would not see an upside in this. And the answer is she probably was never in contention anyway, because the prevailing wisdom is that any vice presidential candidate that he might choose, he will select for their financial capital so that they can fund the campaign. And she ain't that. So, la 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 la.
Boy, is that gross. You know that I worked the polls this time around, and it was a closed primary, which just means that if you're a Republican, you only get a Republican ballot. Democrat, same. There are no independent ballots because there were no independent candidates, and you have no one from whom to choose. I was verbally abused, and strangely, I loved it. I can't explain why. I know. She gave me a look, dear listener, like, you loved being verbally abused. I know. There's something... Correct, but there's something about being right.
Oh.
No matter how crazy people get on the other side, I understand you feel that way. That is not the case in this state. That is not, like, I loved being right. I don't care how crazy you are. For me to just come at you with, I see your frustration, and unfortunately, you're not able to vote on someone else's
you're
ballot.
You're going to stay frustrated because I'm not changing, and I'm in charge, and you're wrong. I can see how you would love this day.
I loved every second of it. Unfortunately, you're an idiot, and I remember you from last year when you said something similar, and I said, here is a form to change your registration so you can vote on the ballot that you choose and not the ballot that you chose before. But they don't care. So I loved it. I loved every minute of it. And they said, I'm glad you loved it because in the fall, in a short several months, 6 months from now, it's going to be 100 times bigger, 100 times more people. And yeah, it's going to be fucking crazy. And I'm going back.
Nuts. I'm so frightened. I really am frightened, and I wish I was not. When the last major election was going on, and I don't remember if it was Arizona or all the places, and they had these pictures of real old folks, senior citizens, like having a hard time walking, senior citizens, crossing parking lots with people seated in chairs with guns, and they would walk right past them to go vote. And I would think, I would not do that.
What country is this?
Ours? No. Yeah, you didn't see all that coverage? And they would say, I won't be intimidated. You can't intimidate me out of voting. I'm going to vote, and I'm doing it today, and get out of the way. And they were right, and they did it, and I'm stunned and thrilled for them because I would not have that will. I think about the trial that's currently going on for former President Trump. I don't want to sit on that jury. I don't want to be all over the news. You see what I'm saying? So it is, intimidation works. And I hate it.
Okay, yes and
bullying
no.
Works.
Okay, well, I'm going to share with you the fact that in the country right now, being Jewish outwardly is not a safe thing to do.
Correct.
The same as walking by somebody with guns outside a polling place. I found my biggest star. I bought another necklace and I wear them in a very bizarre form of defiance, which they should never be. They should never be.
How do
So
you
I
feel when
hear,
you do that?
I feel upset that I have to think about the fact that, ooh, wearing this might make somebody angry at me or want to hurt me in some way. And it is very sad and it is very enraging. But I mean, I have this discussion with my kids. Why do people hate Jews? What did I do?
I don't know.
You
I don't
did
know.
nothing. Like I have been seeing, which is slightly heartwarming, which we've tried for so long, a Black and Jewish alliance kind of trying to work itself into being again. Not as successful as I would like it to be, but I don't know how to be who I am without naturally upsetting other people. But for me, it feels like their problem. And stand there with your guns. I'm wearing my star. Stand there with your. I almost bought a cashmere sweater for almost $300 because it said shalom in Hebrew on the front. I can't afford a $300 sweater, but I wanted to do it and wear it everywhere all the time. So
that's what I
don't
want
know.
to. Let's ask about that. That's what I want more on. How do you feel? And by that I mean, do you feel empowered? Do you feel strong? Do you feel terrified and doing it scared? I'm doing it anyway, even though I'm scared. Do you feel all of those things? Do you feel some other thing that I haven't even begun to comprehend? I can't get past, if it were me, to invent being in that mindset. I can't, because I haven't lived an entire life of awareness of my religion and negative feedback over it, right? I don't have that runway from which to start. And yet, I already know I am not comfortable doing it. I don't want to risk every single thing in my life over what feels like a very important last stand to make, and also equally nothing at all. I don't want to enrage the Nazis in my community to come and target me when I know that I am not impacting change either way. Anything that I say to speak out from my home base, in my own home, and identify my own car, I'm not impacting change positively or negatively. I'm just risking more ire and pressure upon myself. That's the coward's way and position that I take.
I can see that point. However,
so I want to know how you feel, because I'm curious and impressed, and I want to know more because I don't like being a coward.
I think acting for your safety, your personal and your family safety, doesn't make you a coward. I think there is a line that you can draw that doesn't tap that ire, that doesn't poke that bear, but still has you representing well in the world. And that's a line that my whole life I've tried to live. But now it feels more important to share. I don't leave the house so much, but when I do, I don't. It's a good question, and it's a question that I thought of when I saw TikTok of Miss Universe, who was from Israel, and she sat out saying, "Come talk to me, free dinner with Miss Universe." And they sit down and they say, "Oh, so where are you from?" And she says, "Guess." And they say, "Uzbekistan." Like they see an accent, hear an accent, and they know. She's like, "No, I'm from Israel." One person got up and walked away. One.
Wow.
And it'll shock you because it was a Black woman who got up and said, "This conversation's over," and she left. But everybody who stayed and talked to her, she was a field medic. She shared what happens there. And she said, they all said to her, "I didn't know that. I didn't know that Hamas is to ISIS." Like, that's the equivalent right there, that it's not, and it's not Palestinians, it's ISIS using Palestine. Like, they were ignorant of what was happening, but they got caught up in a marginalized community. And I guess Jews are asking, well, why didn't you get caught up when we were all abducted, murdered in front of you, and burned with families? Like, what? Fine. That's not where we are right now. Jews don't do that. So let's go from here. So I think if I leave with the sweater, with the star, with the chai, with the mazel around my neck, could that open a conversation that could potentially inform someone from my bank of knowledge of 51 years of knowing this conflict in the Middle East and not just saying, I saw something or my friend said. Does anything infuriate you more than hearing students on campus in Texas, on campus at Columbia saying, when interviewed, why are you here today? And they turn to their friends and go, why are we here? We're here to protest. You don't even know why you're there, and it's getting ugly. You're going to get hurt. Get informed instead of getting hurt. Yes, I see it as an opportunity to show Jews look like this too. I am blonde hair, blue-eyed, and I have imprisoned no one. I am someone in your community that you know who is married to somebody that you respect. You don't have to respect me. Who's married to somebody that the community is a pillar in the community. These are Jews. I feel like it's a new commercial for your community, for everywhere, grassroots TV commercials. Here's your grocer, Mr. Hooper, Looper. These are Jews. Who just stood up and said something who was Jewish that surprised me. The Gyllenhaal siblings came out and said something. These are what Jews look like. These are people you know. And not to quote Sesame Street, but these are the people in your neighborhood. In your neighborhood. We look just like you. Stop. Learn. And that's how I leave the house. That's how I think I can influence in my small area how people think about Jews.
I find that fascinating. I hope you keep it. I know that on reflection, when you get into editing, a lot of stuff gets left just for you and me. My question, really, I feel you didn't answer it. And I know that we're all about the question and answer format here on CNN, so I want to be sure.
How so?
How do you feel when you broadcast your identity through jewelry, through slogan sayings? Do you in any way
all of those feelings,
feel
proud
scared?
And a little bit, yeah. Only because of wild ignorance. Like, I don't know
Right.
where you got your information, but I know it's wrong. So, yeah, proud to be Jewish and a little frightened. And a little, I'm not using the word frightened as well, but head on a swivel, right? You talk about that all the time. Concerned.
So I wonder if when you wear this stuff, you're not thinking the fear thought, which would prevent me from doing it, in the same way that you're probably not going to have conversations with strangers the way that I do. So maybe it's just our innate makeup. Maybe I'm just a chicken shit little fucker. There are things that I'm supposed to be afraid of that I have no fear, no qualms, no shame about doing. And those are, so that's all backward. But absolutely.
Like grabbing strangers on the street. You
Sure.
do a lot of things.
Putting a political sticker on my car or on my home or around me, or, you know, honestly, even doing an outward sign of my faith or my true deeply held spiritual beliefs, right? I would never do that. I'll have a conversation with you about any of those topics. I love talking about everything because I'm not afraid of talking about it.
I think
I'm afraid of being identified without the chance to speak.
Yes, that's what I think. I am putting this stuff on, the sweater, the chai, my nameplate or mazel on my neck. I am not conscious of it at all times. You are not conscious of who you are 24/7.
Right.
You walk around as that person. Well, maybe you are not more often than that, but I do put it on in my defiant whatever, but it's not something I think about anymore. It is who I am. So I don't think I'm walking into Target. Who is going to target me? I don't think like that. Maybe for a split second before when I put on the sweater, but I wear the rest of it every day. So all day, every day, it is who I am. So I don't really think about it micro as much as the macro of when I bought it. And it's part of my everyday. If I had to think about it every day, I might be a little more fearful, but I left the house. I mean, it's the same for me as COVID. People are looking at you if you're wearing a mask. People are looking at you if you're wearing a star. People are looking. That's it. Just how you react, how they react, that's the next step, right?
The decision was made so far upstream from being present in your life that they're not connected. You're not thinking about the decision to do it or not do it. You decided long ago. In the same way, I'm not selling my dog. Like I don't. So I'm not. I'm not really actually thinking, what would I do with that money that I'm not going to accept? Because it's just, there's so many decisions that are already in front of that negate it. So, okay. All right.
As another act of defiance at election day, a guy came up to me on my M through Z, right? Because that was my section of the poll
That's
book.
your beat. Yeah.
That is my beat. It's my preference too. I got a paper cut like perforated ballot pulling. I won't do that again. So on my beat, he came up and he said, "And here's my license."
Right.
It's like Joe Smith. I can spell your name. I don't need your license. And he's like, "And I insist that you look at it." What do you say to that, Jackhole? I insist that you look at it.
Legally, I must refuse. No, I would look at it. I would say, "You're just so handsome, Joe. Thanks for coming out. You want a sticker?"
Well, interestingly enough, I did not look at it. That was my act of defiance for the day. I was like,
or
that's
do you give
not
out
necessary.
pens? Sometimes they give out pens. Yeah. I like
Oh,
the
no,
sticker.
you don't take our fucking pens. No way, ma'am.
No, they have printed pens that say the name
That
of
say
the
I
event.
voted?
That say I voted in the blankety blank election. It'll have the year and the thing because they'll do that. But I honestly prefer the sticker. So.
Okay,
Well,
and that brings
well,
me to my next topic.
And the only reason that I usually keep it's right next to me on the desk, but my desk is a crime scene right now. No, they sometimes give out pens because depending on what cycle you're in or what location you go to, you actually fill it out with a fucking pen. So they just give you the pen. Yeah.
We do
but
too.
you keep the pen. That's and then you don't get your fucking sticker, which I have a sticker collection. I like my stickers.
Well, here we are. I discovered election day how much adults love stickers. Can you please explain to me that
it's
phenomenon?
Proof that I went. I get to show it off. If you're not Catholic, it's as good as Ash Wednesday. It's perfect. Now you get to walk around and show everybody, look what I did. It might as well just be a gold star. It doesn't have to be that blue circle that says I voted with the little flag and the check
gold
mark.
Star like the Jews wore? Like a gold star like
no,
that?
God bless us all. No. You know what I'm saying. Like you get a trophy. Yes.
I was shocked that people insisted on a sticker. Maybe it got busy at one moment in the whole day because it was a trickle and the candidates are already chosen for the you don't need our primary. We're done.
Look,
so
the only thing that is
stickers.
Well, first of all, they shouldn't have to ask and they shouldn't have to come back. And I'm impressed because a lot of people are too embarrassed to do that because if you don't get it, you're just sort of like, well, now why did I? Come on.
Right. I would leave. I like stickers too, but I would leave and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry I didn't get a sticker." Or is it weird that there were no stickers today? It caused the guy who was feeding them in the machine to break off like 30 stickers and line them up on the table on the way out just so nobody got upset about stickers.
I've seen that. And I think that's the way they should do it because sometimes I like to take two. And I'm happy to take two. So get in my way. I'm fucking taking two.
Now I want
pens. 2 stickers. The pens aren't any good. I'll show you. So, and it's a real pen.
Pens.
Like it's not just like it's a silver pen with a little clicker on the end and they've printed the side of it. I mean, they put some money in the fucking pen.
Amy,
why?
Get me some pens.
No, they're dumb. I don't like them. So, in terms of the sticker, the only thing more coveted, perhaps, is the passing out of included peanuts on an airplane. Because you're always wondering, am I going to get them? Am I going to get the same? Am I getting pretzels this time? Do I get to ask? Can I have one of each? What if, and I'm never going to ask for more than one. They say you can ask for, can I have both? But don't do that because it makes you look like a pig. But sometimes they'll just give you two because they see that
like
you really
chaser.
do want to.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. So that's what it is. So the sticker is like, it is the gift with purchase that you shouldn't have to ask for it. You should just get it. And then when you don't get it, you can't ask for it. There's a whole lot of drama involved in the sticker.
I wouldn't ask for it, but yeah, if you don't get it, you're definitely pissed.
It is a prize. You deserve your prize. I came all the way the fuck out here and told you who I want, who I'm probably not going to get. Give me the sticker, fucker.
Can I ask you a question? Obviously, we have a whole fucking podcast for it.
I hope you
on
will.
my flight to Australia, the flight attendant held a basket, like a full basket of treats down for me to pick what I wanted from this basket. It wasn't the Biscoff cookies that domestically are on now, in addition to the pretzels that look like airplanes. and the peanuts or mixed weirdness. They had Biscoff cookies. So my kids love that. But this basket came down and she said, pick whatever you want.
The wicker tray of love.
How do you do that? How do you do that? I didn't even feel like, I think I stroked out. I don't even think I physically saw all the items.
It's a false choice. It is as high pressure as when it's time to get your luggage out of the overhead. You don't get
Why
time
is
to
it
choose.
such high pressure, though? Why?
You have to grab one and get out and just hope that your instant reflex journey got you the right snack, because you're fucked. If you look at it for longer than we're going to call it 9 seconds, you got trouble. You got trouble. First of all, you don't deserve a snack at that point. You got to just get in there. And the other thing is, you got to do it.
I'm on a 24-hour flight. I need a fucking snack. Give me a second to look.
She's got a lot of people to serve up in here.
I'm breaking out
She's
into
not here
a
just
sweat
for you.
over that.
She's not here for you. First of all, you saw her 2 seats up. She was coming at you, right? So you should have been paying attention and trying to sneak in what's on there, right? And then you got to, as you say, oh, thank you, don't make eye contact. Be constantly scanning that wicker tray, so that as your hand's moving real slow, you're thinking, where's the hand going to go? Where's the hand going to go? It's arching like a plane. And then you got to quick grab and get out, and that's it.
I understand all of that, and I relate terribly. However, on a 24-hour flight, which is the only place I've been given that choice, right? That's the only time that I've been like,
yeah,
m'lady, here is a basket of anything you could possibly want.
Right.
Decide
Please don't shit in your pants, in your seat.
Immediately at the
instead,
pressure.
take a granola bar. Yes.
Well, that's my point.
A koala bar.
A koala testicle. I have to do the quick math of, I have 7 more hours on this flight. I need to know, do I need energy? Am I going to sleep? They had a full-size Hershey bar. How can I see anything other than a full-size chocolate bar?
That's the wrong choice. That's the wrong choice.
It is the wrong choice. You need a nut. You need, I could tell you now with my 20/20 hindsight what I need, but
you got to go for the salt, number one. You got to go quick, and you got to go for the salt.
But if you go for the salt, when you are trapped on this plane where you are expanding by the second, you are retaining everything to start with. I could not do the math fast enough, and my heart and my head know that my body is 60% cacao to start with, and I should just replenish the cacao. So I took the fucking chocolate bar.
What?
And then it was regret.
Did they eject you from the plane?
No,
I would have.
They did not.
Did you have to forfeit your seat? It was a test.
I would have told
Was there
you.
like a trigger underneath the thing when you lifted it and went?
I failed. No, I just failed the test. I know I failed the test.
I think you did.
If there were a bag of almonds and the chocolate bar, that would have been the way to go. Looking back now, perfection. That is not what I did. That is not how that worked. I saw, the Sour Patch Kids on the other end of the... That's a dumb answer.
This is a weird basket. This is a vending machine basket. It's very weird.
Doesn't it feel like that? What would you have picked from the basket of... And tell me, I will accept whatever answer you give and not be a dick to say, that wasn't there. There were yogurt-covered raisins. I'm not picking that out of my teeth the next 4 weeks.
Well, my strategy is this. I normally go for the thing that is least available anywhere else. So Hershey bar would immediately be out. I normally just take a quick scan, and anything that has a package I don't recognize, higher in the ranks. Then if it's identified as something that I would eat, higher still, right? So I'll go in, and bonus points, if 2 good things are right next to each other, sometimes you just go and pinch them together and say, take 2. And then, because it's already in your hand, it doesn't matter. They're not going to say no. They never say no, but at the same time, they're like, oh, of course. So at that point, now I've scored 2 items that are from some other world that the plane lives on, right? So I get to eat, like it's when you end up someplace and they give you like a cheese sandwich. Like you can get fucked with this strategy, but that's the point of the plane, right? There's always another meal. There's not always another. They do. There's always another meal. There's not always another chance to get like, blue-haired koala snacks or whatever the fuck they're going to give you. You have to go for the weird thing. You have to go for the weird thing. Because if I also know you have a bag filled with foodstuffs. So this is not necessary. This is not a necessary item. Okay.
I laugh because it's very true.
You have like a mini fucking refrigerator under your legs. So you don't need the Hershey bar.
Hands tied. Remember, this is the 16-and-a-half-hour leg, not the whatever. So
yeah.
on this leg, they said, there is somebody on this plane highly allergic to peanut butter. If you have peanuts, please do not take them out on this plane. I had 10 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches on little round potato rolls in my bag.
Stop it. I know that's a joke. She's putting her hands up as if to say 10.
10. You
Stop
know those
it.
Martin's round potato rolls?
No, I don't. No,
you
I
know
don't.
Little potato rolls?
Of course, this is a sacrilege, and my throat's closing up. I'm getting very upset. Do you mean to tell me?
Are you allergic to peanut butter also?
No, fuck no. I'm allergic to this conversation. Did you actually take Martin's dinner rolls, the tiny ones that come in a little grid, akin to Mona Laue, whatever, the Kukalanga Hawaiian rolls? I forget who makes those, right? I don't normally get them, so I'm sorry. Okay, you took those little tiny rolls, destined for greatness, and instead of putting something decent on them, like a ham or a cheese.
Like what?
Or a ham and a cheese, or a turkey.
That doesn't travel well.
Or how about, why are you bringing
that
a
does
fucking
not
sandwich?
travel well.
Okay, who brings a sandwich is number one, and who brings 10 of them? How many sandwiches can you eat?
It's only 10 because the other 2 we ate in the airport. We had a full dozen peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
My God.
Look, I never know where my next meal is coming from, and I love peanut butter and jelly, and I love potato rolls.
If you're going to act this way, I can't believe I have to tell you these strategies, because this is just, I wish that you had not done that. I just wish you had not done that. I wish you had not done that.
And dear listener wishes they could travel with me because they know I've got a dozen peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Your travel is enviable. Your bag filled with kindergarten, playtime rejects. No. If you want to be on a plane and you want to carry things in there with you, get you a couple of ramen mix in a cup and ask them for hot water. And now you're having hot ramen while you're sitting in your seat.
What is with you and salting me till I explode? What are you doing?
It tastes delicious. The salty tastes
I agree.
At the higher altitude, salt tastes better than sweet anyway. It is what you crave. It's the best. It's fantastic. That's what you want. Or I've known people to bring little condiments in either a Ziploc bag or in one of those snap top Tupperware style containers. They'll bring like stuffed olives, or they'll bring like a charcuterie, and then they'll order a drink, just the straight gin or the straight vodka, and now they're making a martini with their olives that they plop in there. You can get really crafty. Yeah, eyeballs. You're not saying, hey, how can I bring some squeezy peanut butter on this plane? Stop it. You should be bringing. God help you.
They all fit in 1 gallon. They fit 1 gallon bag.
Honey.
It was great. It was perfection. Don't get me wrong. I
I'm
had a
glad you were
Snackle box
happy.
also.
Snackle box. Thank you. I just bought.
I had a Snackle box also.
I broke down and bought one. I feel like a fool, but I did. I bought it.
Why?
I fucking bought it. Because those things are gimmicky and stupid, but they actually do really work well with my life. A Snackle box, if you don't know, picture an oblong or a low flat Tupperware that has individual containers in it. So when you open the lid, they're like a tray all ready for you, and you can take them out and pass like 2 or 3 of these to some of the people in this giant car you're traveling in, and you still keep the rest, and it's neat, it's contained. When you put the lid on, the whole thing slips like a sleeve right into your cooler. It's perfect. It's a great snack transportation device. It's helpful. It's good.
And
it's not filled up with 10 macaroni and cheese sandwiches. Sorry, whatever the hell they're called. See, I'm mixing it together. It's all this after-school snack. What's next? Chef Boyardee bags? Stop. What are we doing?
My husband said, do you want to go get, instead of doing all of that work, it's really not that much work. Instead of doing all that work,
one communal slab of bread off, flipping it like a scalp, and then smearing the whole contiguous thing with peanut butter and jelly, then putting the whole lid back on and pulling them apart. Zip, 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 zip. Then they go into the one bag.
He said, should we just buy Uncrustables? I'm like, ugh, that shit's disgusting.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
So not only am I making all these sandwiches, I'm picky and judgy about other ones.
Should we just buy Uncrustables? Wow.
I don't eat that shit.
I'm getting a picture. You know
we
what,
want
the
to
boys?
Travel with you.
Well, my children do not eat Uncrustables, largely because they've never been presented in Uncrustables, so how would they know?
My kids
However, they are a hit on the lacrosse field, and some of these, I will call them males, will eat them frozen. They take them, pluck them complete. They don't even wait for them to thaw. So what are you doing?
I've seen that, but even better, I've seen them toasted. And them being toasted is even better than them being frozen.
It becomes a different object. Once the bread is crunchy, now we're in a different sandwich altogether. And that makes the peanut butter very oozy-goozy. I actually did just buy I bought some questionable peanut butter yesterday, and I did it very quickly.
Me too.
And I thought to myself, this is a mistake. But I charged ahead. I'm doing a new thing at the market. It's unnerving. It's very unnerving. I'm doing a speed shop. I had to do a speed shop at some point recently for some very urgent matter that I don't recall, but there was no choice. It had to be done. I had to do it in way less time than was even possible to accomplish it, and I got it done. And then when I left, I thought, if that is possible to achieve the impossible, let's make that the new standard. And so now when I go grocery shopping, it is gamified to I have to spend as little time in here as possible. No time for decision. I treat everything like I'm presented with the rattan snack tray on the 12-hour flight. I saw the peanut butter. I grabbed it. I didn't want it, but I kept moving. That's the one we're getting this time. Fuck you! That's what I bought.
Did you get a sticker?
No.
For being so good at shopping? Can you explain to me the man wipes his nose in a bar?
Okay. The last time I saw you, I was seated in the booth bench area of the table, and you were seated in the upright chair. So everyone knows I have the upper hand in this situation for a variety of reasons. As such, I was looking over your shoulder, admiring the view of the restaurant where we were. And over your shoulder was a man with a woman, I presume, on some sort of amorous outing. He was looking at his menu. He was wearing a shirt with a crew neck collar, so a rounded collar with a hem. Looking down at his menu, which was flat on the table, he decided to lift his shirt over his nose and squeeze and wipe his nose with the shirt. Look down into the shirt he had just wiped. Do it again.
For the snail trails.
Do it again. And then return what I presume to be a very juicy shirt to his body and neck while he proceeded to read the menu.
That's
so I ask you.
Fucking disgusting. Wait a minute.
When
this is
you're
on a
seated,
date?
honey. I want to start with who wipes your own snot on your chest while you're getting ready to eat. Can we start there?
Boy.
Or your clothing. When you have napkins available on the table in front of you, you're at a restaurant.
A boy.
What are you doing? What? And if you're going to wipe your nose, why don't you just be ninja style? Grab the hem from the bottom, pull it up, exposing your nethers, and rub the hem so that when it flaps back, at least it's not affixed to your body like some super glue mucus snot.
Was your ninja style that T-shirt that says "Ask me about my ninja costume" and you pull the shirt up over your head? And
it would have been preferred.
Okay.
I just don't get it. I don't get how people operate.
Boys are gross.
Well, they are, and then they aren't, because I was actually bested socially by a man who I venture to say would be the last person I would ever tell you I could receive social pointers from. And everybody knows I need the social pointers. But this guy, he was squarely in the could give a fuck category. He was in my house. Okay, a lot of people were here. It was one of those things where there's tons of people here. And the kids were all upstairs. And he had to take a call. Okay, I learned after the fact it was a ruse. He stood up from the table, walked off into the other room, and held the phone to his head, and he said, "Hey, what's going on?" "Oh, okay, you got some homework?" "Yeah, okay, I gotcha. Well, then let's go." "Makes sense. Okay, bye." "Sorry, guys, kiddo just called. He's got a lot of homework, so we're going to have to go." And you're already nodding because you figured out long before I was told by others in the room that he placed the call, did not receive it, placed the call to his son where he dictated, "You have homework and we are leaving," when the child neither had homework nor the desire to leave. So Paul made an exit call flawlessly. I was impressed.
I love that. That's better than an Irish goodbye.
I'm only good at those. I'm only good at those. I'm very good at those. I like those because I don't want to talk to you about saying goodbye. I don't want to be leaving. I just leave because otherwise we're going to have this long conversation and then you're going to make me stay and always make me drink more. People are very pushy when it's time for me to go. They never let me leave.
Well, you're fun to watch drunk. Dear listener, are you fun to watch drunk? Are you a third as fun as Amy? Because if you are, you're a blast. I want to thank you for turning us on this week. I hope we turned you on in some small way. Although, Aim, can you figure out how we would have done that this week?
It was a very up and downsy. And I'm going to ask you, as you're cutting things out, you got one more thing on the board. You feel like it's too big? You're probably going to cut a lot. Do you think that one's too big to hit? I don't know what it is. You put it there.
Oh, Tubby, that one?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so we talked about having Disney adults. We talked about adults who love stickers. Amy, prime candidate. I am intrigued by adults that take baths.
Oh.
They say things to me like, oh, I'm just going to go take a tubby and wash off the day.
I'm going to stop you right there. No one says I'm going to take a tubby. That's not what people say.
Okay.
You've never heard
I
a person
did not
say this.
invent it. Oh, you're so wrong.
You've never heard a person say this.
We made fun of one person that we knew, and then 2 other people over the next 5 years said it. And I said, yeah, I'm going to have to scratch at this scab just a touch. Where did you hear that? Because Stuart and I my husband and I have been making fun of people, this person, for years and years for saying, I'm going to take a tubby. And no. That's not a word you should be using, a tubby. Did you think I meant something else by tubby?
I think all of it. I think all of it. I think it is weird. I think getting in a bath is kind of already like, what are we doing? I mean, sometimes I even have a hard time getting in the pool, and I love being in the pool. I'm just like, really? I've got to get wet, and then I got to get dry, and the whole thing. I get it. It's great. But I'm going to do this like on a Thursday what do we do next? I go to sleep. I mean, what are we doing? You're just sitting there?
Do I sit in my own filth?
It's great.
Does my hair get wet?
I think it's great. I love a bubble bath, but it's a lot of effort.
I think it's great. This is
a
ridiculous. This is stupid. No, I think it's great.
No, which is more relaxing? Altering your physical space, not at all, to watch a movie. Soft, comfortable blanket, maybe there's a pillow. Sometimes there's a popcorn. It's people you can talk to. It's nice, it's dark, it's warm, it's wonderful. Or I got to strip naked, stand there, wait for the thing to fill up,
in the cold.
Put in all kind of product, look around, decide I need to do some depilatory. Now I'm standing around. Now wait a minute. If I'm doing that, I should do this. And can I get the thing in deep? Now I'm doing chores. Now I'm doing physical chores on my body and skin. And then when I get in there,
and you have to clean that tub too.
Magically. Oh, wait. Now I get to relax because I have eased into this thing that is scalding my nethers. And now when I sit down, I'm like, okay, whoo. And it's very steamy. And now I'm soaking wet. And I can't really wash my hair in here because it's covered with the soap that covers your body. And so I'm going to sit in it like a fucking chicken on the stove. And now I got to do a whole process afterward. What? That ends
with cleaning the tub. But wait, did you say you were shaving in that tub? Because that will make me fucking crazy if now I'm not just sitting in my own filth.
If I'm going to do that whole business, our bath has one of those wands where it has the water spigot goes into it, and then it has a handheld wand. So if I'm going to get the tub all dirty anyway, I might as well start by doing a pedicure and also do your, shave your legs and everything, because it goes right into the tub, and then you just rinse it down, and now you fill the tub, and it's like, what the fuck? It's just too much. Why are we doing this? Why aren't there people
filling the tub takes 45 minutes?
Thank you.
Easy.
And it's a waste of water.
Easy.
And it's not, who wants to sit in it?
Completely a waste.
I have heard that Mel Robbins say, I take a bath every night. And I'm like, that's gross. Like, why? And what are you doing? And how much time and money do you have? Like, it's not even about that. If you had to fill it up with olive oil, like what the amount of time it takes. I'm just saying, if it wasn't even about the water, that's a weird thing to say. I'm just saying.
And we're out. Thank you so much for listening. We love you tons. We love you tons. Come back again next week, please. Don't bathe in it.
No, don't do that. Bye.
I'm going to do it live. I'll Do it live.